Hi everybody, welcome to my kitchen. I'm Miss Beth and I've got a special treat for you tonight. This is something that my mother has cooked for me for years and years and years, and I passed it down to my kids and they love it now. The first thing I'm going to do is make salmon croquettes. This is what we use for the salmon, and I've got everything assembled here to show you what all I'm using so you can gather up your ingredients. First of all, we got salmon. I'm going to put 2 eggs, a sleeve of Ritz crackers, or you can use the white crackers. And then I use seasoning salt and a lot of my stuff, so I've got it out here, and a little bit of salt and pepper. All right, and then for the potatoes, usually I use about 2 potatoes per person, depending on what size they are. So I've got 5 little small potatoes here, and these are just your regular russet potatoes. I put butter, real butter, Hellmann's mayonnaise, half and half, salt and pepper. And sometimes I put a little bit extra something if it needs it. So, and then I'm going to shorten up my supper tonight because who wants to be in the kitchen all night long cooking? I'm going to use some brown gravy in the packet from McCormick's. Easy to make, and you can also vamp it up a little bit where it tastes like homemade gravy. We got lima beans, frozen lima beans, and this is something I use in all my vegetables. Where you don't have to have a lot of the extra fat and calories. This is ham seasoning by Goya, and it's just a packet of it. This is great. Like, use it in collard greens, turnip greens, butter beans, green, any kind of beans, any kind of peas, any kind of vegetable really. It gives you the great flavor of ham, but you don't have all the calories. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to peel these potatoes, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to put them on to boil, and then I'm going to show you how to do the salmon. Especially, I want my kids to watch this because they're always saying, well, I don't know, mine don't really taste like yours. What all did you put in yours again? So, and then my daughter just told me on the phone that she tried to make it, but it had bones in it. And I'm like, yeah, well, it does have some bones in it. You can get the boneless salmon, I think, in a packet. I don't use that. I use the good stuff. This is about $3.50 a can at the grocery store. My grandparents used to just pour this in a bowl and cook it and eat it with biscuits, but I don't do that. But anyways, you'll love this. So here we go. Okay, now that I've got my potatoes cut up in little cubes, I'm going to put them in some boiling water with some salt. You want enough salt in there where it kind of tastes like the ocean. So I've got my water over here. Drop them in the water. I got them going. All right, the next thing I want to do, because my mom always told me you need to start cooking whatever takes the longest. So my potatoes have to cook for probably about 20 minutes, and the butter beans have to cook for about 20 minutes. So I'm going to get them on next. So 1 container of butter beans and 1 package of ham bouillon. Here I go. Put this over here into the water. I've already got it turned on. And I did put just a tad of oil in it. I think it's just vegetable oil. Just season that up. Got my potatoes going. Okay, so I'm opening up my salmon. I got me a bowl here. You do need some liquid in it when you mix it all up. So I'm going to pour, you see there's a pretty good bit in there. So pour about half that out. Then I'm going to take this and pour it into a dish. Now, some people don't like fish. They think it's kind of nasty. But this don't smell too bad. It smells pretty good. But there are some little bones in it. There is a little bit of skin. And I usually take my can there, and I put all the stuff I don't want in my bowl in the can, back in the can. If you'll pull it apart, there are some little bones that run down in there. Now, my daughter's just told me the last time she cooked some, it had bones in it. That little rib of bones there, it's like a little backbone. So you take that out, and there may be a few other little bones in there. So, and then I don't like to use this. I don't like to put that skin in there either. I think I got it all out. I think I got all the bones out. So mash that up. There's still a little juice in there. You want to take 2 eggs. Some people may not put but 1. Got my eggs in there. Now, my favorite seasoning of all time is seasonal. Morton seasonal. I put this in everything. I put it on my pork chops. I put it on my chicken. I put it in my vegetables. Matter of fact, I'm probably fixing to sprinkle some in my little butter beans over there. So I put some of this in there. Quite a bit. Maybe a tablespoon or 2. Then I take my crackers. And like I said, these are Ritz crackers. You can use the regular saltine crackers. I used to even put mayonnaise in mine. But mayonnaise tends to pop really bad when you put it in grease. And I got tired of being splattered with grease. So I don't use mayonnaise in mine anymore. But you can, and it tastes really good in them. But just mash these up pretty fine. And all this is supposed to make the salmon stick together. It's going to be like a little patty. Now, my daughter used to call these chicken. She'd say, "Ooh, Mama, that was some good chicken patties." And we would look at each other and we'd say, "Well, thank you, but baby, that wasn't chicken. It was salmon." So she didn't care. But you know how kids are when they're little. They're kind of picky about fish and stuff like that. But she didn't care. She liked them chicken patties. So you mash this all up real good. I'm probably going to add a little bit of salt and pepper too. Some people probably have never heard of salmon croquettes or salmon patties. Y'all tell me in the comments below if you have ever had salmon croquettes. Now, if you're in the South, like I am, I'm in South Alabama. I'm probably about 75 miles from the beach, from Panama City Beach, Florida. Now, most people around here love these things. They'll tell you. They'll put them on Facebook. "Oh, I made salmon croquettes." But this is how I make mine. And you can, like I said, you can change it up. Some people put onions and milk and all kinds of crazy stuff in mine. This is all I put. Just salmon, eggs, and crackers. So then, when you get them stirred up, you just reach in there and you make you out some patties. I try to make them out to be no bigger than the lid of that can that they came in. So let me make these out, and I'll start adding them to my grease over here, and I'll show you how much grease I've got. This is just vegetable cooking oil. You can use peanut oil, or I've even used olive oil before. It's up to you. Don't look like all of them's going to fit in there, so I'm going to stop right there with that many. Let those cook, and I'll stir all my stuff up over here. So my potatoes are cooking good. They usually cook about 20 minutes or until you stick a fork in them and they're tender. You don't want potatoes that are not done. Let me wash my hands real quick. As a former nurse, I can tell you, I wash my hands a lot. But, you know, good hygiene. All right, so these are cooking pretty good now. I'm going to see what they look like when I flip them over. Woo, look at there. Nice and golden brown. I used to put mayonnaise in these. Boy, that grease would foam up and it would be popping. So they do taste good with mayonnaise in them, though. So that was probably about 5 minutes. Temperature's on about medium. In the meantime, I've got my little pot here, and I told y'all I was going to make some gravy. And of course, I got to get my trusty seasoning salt, but it calls for half a cup of water, and it wants you to start out on cold. If you put this gravy mix in hot water, it's going to lump up like crazy. So don't put your gravy mix in hot water. And I'm going to turn that on about medium. Okay, now they looking pretty good here. Let's check them again. Starting to pop. I usually flip it back over. Oh, look, them look nice. Don't them chicken patties look nice? salmon croquettes. Now, I call them croquettes. My husband calls them croquets. And I'm like, I don't know. Isn't croquet like a game you play with a ball or something you hit with a stick? So what do y'all call them? Some people just call them salmon patties. I call them salmon croquettes. I've got me a pan here and some good old paper towel. About 3 layers of it because you don't want these things to be greasy. You want them the grease to drain off of them. Just put them out there on your paper towel like that. Now I know you're asking, well, how I know they're done? Well, you can feel that they're not mushy. If they were still mushy or they weren't golden brown, they won't be done. So I got those out. Let me put my other 3 in there. Might want to turn the heat down just a little bit because it get a little hot. Now this is just brown gravy that I'm using. I've used brown, I've used pork, I've used mushroom gravy. I don't know. They all taste about the same, really. And I try to put a little extra seasoning in there for them. Now you'll notice that they're going to cook a little bit faster the second round. Keep a watch on them. Ooh, them butter beans is boiling up a storm. Now, I told y'all I like to use this seasoning salt on everything. People ask me, well, what did you put in your casserole? Or what did you do different? Because you gave me the recipe and mine didn't taste the same as yours. And I said, well, you got to have the seasoning. Vegetables just ain't good if they ain't got enough seasoning in them. So I got them seasoned up good. Now, potatoes, let's check them bad boys. Yep, they're done. I'm going to turn them off. Finish up my croquettes. There goes my boy again. So look at there. Those are almost done. They smell so good. They don't smell fishy either. They don't taste fishy at all. They don't smell fishy at all. There those go. Turn that off. Gravy's almost ready to roll out. I'm going to turn it down on low. My taters are done, and I'm going to drain them, and I'm going to show you what all I put in them. Now, I like to use real butter. I don't like margarine. Margarine, I don't know. It's not real butter. Let's put it that way. So I'm going to put about, probably about half a stick of butter in there. And I don't do I guess you could say cream potatoes. I do mashed potatoes. So I have to use my handy masher here. I'll mash up all this butter in here. All right. Then I'm going to add a little bit of half and half in there. Give it a little bit of liquid so it don't get dry. That looks good. Now I'm going to get my Hellmann's mayonnaise. We love Hellmann's too. Hellmann's is like bomb diggity for us. It's worth it. Stir that in there. Gotta have some salt and pepper. Even though I did salt the potatoes, taste them. Always taste your food. You know what? I don't think they need any salt. Put a little black pepper in there. Always taste your food. I love to make casseroles. My casseroles, when I give the recipes to people, like I said earlier, they'll say, well, Beth, I made that casserole, but it just don't taste as good as yours. I said, did you season it? Yeah, season it. You have to season each layer. So I seasoned it while it was cooking. Now I'm seasoning it up while it's getting prepared here. So that looks good. There might be a few little lumps in it, but I don't think so. I think it's good. Alrighty. Now, you see me piling these dishes over here in the sink. My kids give me trouble all the time because when we just remodeled our house, it's been less than 2 years ago. They kept saying, Mama, it's the perfect time to put a dishwasher in. And I said, I don't want a dishwasher. And they said, well, why not? I said, because I don't want a dishwasher. I like to wash dishes. I stand at that sink and I look out that window when it's daylight. I like to wash dishes. That's another thing. I'm a crazy plant lady. That's what my son-in-law calls me. So, I don't like dishwashers. I like to wash dishes. And I know you're thinking, she must be crazy. She likes to wash dishes? Yeah, I do. I do. I like to wash dishes. Yeah, I do. I do. So there's my potatoes. They're done. I'm going to put them back over here on the stove where they can stay warm until my butter beans gets done. They're almost ready. Let's look at them. Remember what I told you about cooking in sequence? Always try to start cooking the thing that's going to take the longest to cook. So if you're going to make a roast, you don't want to start making the roast after you put start cooking the potatoes and the carrots and the butter beans or collard greens or whatever else you're cooking. You want to start the meat first because it takes the longest to cook, and then the vegetables, if they take longer, whichever one takes the longest, start cooking it. And the thing that it takes the least amount of time to make, you make it last. That way, when everything's cooked, it's all done at the same time. So let me clean up my mess and we'll finish up cooking. And I'll show y'all everything when it's plated. I like to wash dishes. I like to wash dishes. Because I just told y'all I was a neat freak. I like dish towels too. All right. I'm just going to do one plate up for you tonight. You still rolling? So we're going to do some potatoes, gravy, a couple of these. And there we have it. So let me just tell you, these things are so good. If you've never had them before, I want you to try them. And when you do, I want you to put in the comments below if you liked them or not. Make them like I told you to. Just make sure you get all the bones out. Stir them up with some crackers and some eggs and salt, pepper, and some seasoning salt. Gotta have the seasoning salt. And make them into little patties. Cook them as big as you want them. Let's try them. Look at that. Crunchy on the outside, moist on the inside. And some good old salmon patties. Hey, I'm so glad y'all joined me tonight. And I hope y'all try this recipe. And try these mashed potatoes too, because they're really good. So let me know what you think. And y'all have a good night. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. I like to wash dishes.
Hey, how you doing?